When a rogue army of humans kills Caesar's wife and son, he sets out to exact revenge. But his quest for retribution reveals his darker instincts even as he makes a startling discovery. As I sat down to watch War for the Planet of the Apes, I found myself filled with anticipation and a certain level of skepticism. This was the final chapter in Caesar's journey and the culmination of a trilogy that started with Rise of the Planet of the Apes and continued with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Being the 9th film overall in the franchise, there was a lot riding on this film, and yet I was curious to see how Matt Reeves would conclude this saga. I knew one thing for certain: the title might suggest an action-packed adventure, but this film turned out to be so much more than that. War for the Planet of the Apes picks up where its predecessor left off, thrusting us into a world where Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, must navigate the harrowing consequences of a brutal conflict. Following the events of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, an army led by a ruthless colonel, portrayed by Woody Harrelson, is hell-bent on eliminating the apes once and for all. However, this film is far from a traditional war story. Instead of bombarding the audience with relentless action, Reeves has crafted a more introspective narrative, a profound exploration of leadership, survival, and morality in the face of desperation. I couldn't help but notice that the film's title is a bit misleading. If you go in expecting a war epic, you might be in for a surprise. The war in this film is more psychological and emotional than physical. The story is a character-driven drama that delves deep into Caesar's soul, showcasing his internal battles as much as his external ones. The film raises thought-provoking questions about revenge, justice, and mercy, forcing us to look at the darker sides of our humanity through the eyes of Caesar and his fellow apes. The first thing that struck me was the film's visual mastery. The special effects in War for the Planet of the Apes are nothing short of breathtaking. The apes look incredibly lifelike, and I found myself forgetting that these characters were brought to life through motion capture technology. Andy Serkis, as always, delivers an extraordinary performance as Caesar. It's not just the technical brilliance that stands out, but the emotional depth he brings to the role. Caesar is a character who has seen and suffered much, and Serkis portrays this wariness with a subtlety that is both powerful and heartbreaking. If there were ever an argument for recognizing motion capture performances at the highest level of award shows, this film is it. The film doesn't rely on action set pieces to keep the audience engaged. Instead, it uses moments of quiet intensity and thought-provoking dialogue. When the action does occur, it feels earned and necessary, but it never overshadows the emotional core of the story. The moments between Caesar and his companions, especially the scenes of doubt, grief, and resolve, are the real heart of the movie. One of the film's greatest strengths is its ability to act as a mirror reflecting the human condition. In this world, the line between good and evil is not clearly drawn. The humans, led by Woody Harrelson's fanatical colonel, are portrayed as desperate survivors driven by fear of extinction. There is a poignant moment in the film where you realize that these humans, in their desperation, are just as scared and lost as the apes they are trying to destroy. Harrelson's portrayal of the colonel is chilling, yet strangely empathetic. It forces you to ask, what would I do in this situation? This is a film that compels you to confront your own morality, your own fears, and the lengths to which you might go to protect your kind. Similarly, Caesar is portrayed not as an infallible hero, but as a flawed leader who wrestles with his own sense of justice and vengeance. His journey is a testament to the complexity of leadership. He is not an ape version of a saint. he is a messiah figure burdened with his people's survival. Yet, his decisions are never easy or clear-cut. There are moments where he is driven by anger and hatred, mirroring the very emotions that led Koba, his former ally, to dark places in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This moral ambiguity is what makes Caesar's journey so compelling and relatable. Despite its many strengths, the film is not without its flaws. The pacing, especially in the middle portion, could feel slow to some viewers. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes balanced action and drama more seamlessly, whereas War leans heavily on drama. There is a character, Bad Ape, introduced as a comic relief, who could have easily turned into a Jar Jar Binks of the Apes universe. Fortunately, he managed to avoid that fate, bringing a light-hearted contrast that worked more than it didn't. Still, his inclusion may feel jarring to those looking for a more straightforward narrative. The film also suffers from an underutilization of some of its more interesting human characters, focusing almost exclusively on the apes, which, while understandable, might leave some viewers yearning for more balance. In the end, War for the Planet of the Apes serves as a satisfying conclusion to Caesar's arc. It is a contemplative and emotional finale that does justice to the character's journey from a curious and intelligent chimpanzee to a wise and wary leader. It's not about the battle itself, but about the cost of war and the price of peace. This film leaves a mark by asking tough questions about what it means to be human, or perhaps more importantly, what it means to be humane. As I finished watching the film, I couldn't help but reflect on how the Apes trilogy has not only revived a beloved franchise, but has also elevated it to a new level of storytelling. With the recent release of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in 2024, a new trilogy begins, one that has some big shoes, or rather, big paws to fill. For me, War for the Planet of the Apes will always stand as a poignant reminder of the power of storytelling, showing that sometimes the greatest wars are the ones fought within. That's my opinion on War for the Planet of the Apes. Do you agree with my thoughts? What are your thoughts on the film? Let me know in the comments. Please drop a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this